You know the hardest part about making changes within yourself or your life or changing the direction of your life? It's being able to ignore your mind because our mind is just a series of conditioned thoughts, concepts, ideas that we've brought forward with us from the past. And we think about 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day. And about 90% of those are the same thoughts as the day before. And if we continue to live from those same thoughts, we're going to continue to act in the same ways, feel the same way, and nothing will change. It's the hardest part because you have to break the mold of yourself. We have this self concept, this self identity, this narrative in our mind that is running our life and has run our life. It's something that has been formed from the time that we were children and through our adult life. And it becomes a self fulfilling prophecy because this narrative, when we believe these things, we act in ways that reinforce those beliefs. And then we see evidence of those thoughts and beliefs, that conditioned pattern or program in our external environment, which tells us that it's true. But it's only true because we believed it, we acted in ways that reinforced it, and then it created a result that also reinforced it. So being able to ignore those thoughts, those limiting beliefs, those fears, and those doubts is the key to you actually breaking the mold of yourself so you can create a different result in your life, become someone new. Because as I've said in other videos, if you don't shift your identity and shift this, your internal world, who you are, nothing will change in your life. As within, so without. Life is just a reflection of yourself. If you want to change that, you have to change this first. And if we're continually living from the same patterns of thinking, we're going to still act in the same ways and nothing will change. So the key is to first become aware of these thoughts and beliefs that don't support the direction that you want to go. You have to have an understanding of what direction you want to go and then become aware of all of the thoughts that don't support you moving in that direction. And it's very difficult because we've gone our whole lives identified with these thoughts, with these beliefs, with the story and the self concept that we have. And letting go of that is the hardest part. But it's very difficult to become aware, open up your perception of yourself if you're dysregulated, if you're living in fight or flight. So it's crucial that we're able to regulate ourselves, down regulate the nervous system. In doing that, you bring yourself out of fight or flight. You don't feel this constant threat or constantly looking for safety. You're not rushing around, you're not overthinking. You're very at home within your own body in presence. And you can then clearly see the thoughts and emotions that have ran your life. But that's just the first step because through awareness, you have choice. You don't have to live from these thoughts and emotions anymore, or these patterns. But awareness can be very hard because when you become more aware, you start to see all of the things that have held you back. And that's not easy because these are the things that you've identified with up until this point. You've seen those things as you. So, again, being able to ignore those things is absolutely imperative if you want to take yourself in a different direction, if you want to break the mold of who you've been. There's a really good saying. It's if there's no enemy within, the enemy outside can do no harm. And I really like this quote because it speaks to the truth of the power of your own mind. If there's nothing within yourself that is pulling you down or holding you back, there is nothing outside of you that could hold you down or pull you back. The key is to overcome yourself. We often think that the obstacles are outside of us, but it's the way that we perceive the obstacles outside of us that will either make them mountains or molehills in our own perception. It's our own mind, right? So that's where, again, it's important to ignore yourself, ignore the thoughts and the narratives that you're living by, to become aware of them and ask yourself, is this supporting who I want to become or the direction I want to go? And it's very challenging and very difficult because we have so much momentum and inertia moving in a certain direction, a lifetime of momentum moving in this direction, that to overcome it, it takes a while to actually start changing that direction. First, you got to slow yourself down by becoming aware, by not reacting to these thoughts and emotions, by sitting in the discomfort of the fear or the doubt and moving towards what you feel called to do anyways, no matter what it is. Oftentimes we have this inner call, something we feel like we want to do, and we're too scared to do it. We get these negative thoughts, these limiting beliefs, that negative voice in our head that's telling us we can't do it, or that we're not good enough, or it's not going to work out, or it doesn't make sense, or whatever it is. Those are the thoughts that you have to ignore. Those are the thoughts that you have to separate yourself from, observe, and let them pass on. Because the more that we act from those thoughts, the stronger they become, the more real they seem in our mind, and the more we live in accordance with that narrative. But you have to understand that self-belief is changed through action. You will only change your beliefs about yourself when you act in a different way. Because you can convince yourself of something all you want. You can use affirmations, you can journal about it, but until you actually act in a way that is different from those beliefs, you're going to keep getting the same evidence outside of you that the limiting beliefs that you have are true and are real. So in order to change those beliefs and change yourself, shift your identity, sometimes you have to start acting as that person before you actually are that person. And that's where they say fake it till you make it. You know, you have to embody the version of yourself that you want to be and walk the walk, live the life now that you want to live before you're living it. No, maybe you're not going to have that complete tangible life that you want, you know, in the partner or the money or the business or whatever it is for you. You might not have that, but you got to act as if you are that person right now. I did another video on a mental exercise to shift your identity. And it's kind of a journal prompt or a self-reflection question. And you basically ask yourself, what is the life that I want to live? And if that version of me who's living that life was transported back in time to who I am, where I am right now, how would they live their life right now to start building it in the direction of the life that I currently want? So when you put yourself in that mindset, you then can start acting and living as the version of you who is going to live the life that you want. Shift your identity. Ignore the narrative in your mind that you've lived by so far. It's crucial if you want to change the direction of your life, change yourself, get different results in life, whatever it is. If there's no enemy within, the enemy outside can do no harm. Another one I really like is ships don't sink because of the water around them. They sink because of the water that gets inside of them. It's because of the way that we relate to things, our own negative self-talk, our own doubts, our own fear. That's letting water in our own ship. And you have to become aware of if the thoughts that you're having don't support the direction you want to go, if it's letting water in your own ship, just don't believe them. Don't act on those things or react to them. Sit with it. This is the most powerful thing you can do, is sit with it and breathe. Be in your body, not in your head. Be in the presence of your awareness, of your beingness, and allow that thought to pass on and take action in a different direction. You have to ignore your mind if you want to change your life. So I hope this video helps. If you can do this, you will truly be unstoppable in life. I'll see you in the next video.